every single second of the episode for trailer feels like a warning shot. And if you thought Season 2 was intense already, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Landman Season 2 Episode 4 is shaping up to be the kind of episode that grabs you by the throat and refuses to let go, and from the moment the trailer begins, it's obvious that nothing in Tommy's world is safe anymore. The trailer wastes absolutely no time showing us that the emotional fallout from his mother's death is about to collide with the mescalina well. Moral is quietly engineering behind the scenes. And honestly, the whole thing feels like a storm building from every direction, pressing down on Tommy until something or someone finally breaks. The tone, the tension, the way every scene carries a sense of danger hidden underneath every word, it almost feels like we're watching all the pieces slide into place. For the season's first major explosion, the trailer opens with the funeral. And even though we only see fragments of it, the weight of it hits hard. Tommy is surrounded by people but still somehow feels painfully alone. And you can tell he's holding back years' worth of memories that he's never wanted to face. And the worst part, his father is the one forcing him to confront all of it. We hear him say something that stings more than anything else in the trailer. A reminder that their mother wasn't the saint Tommy kept in his mind. And the moment that line hits, you can practically feel Tommy slipping into a new kind of internal war. Not the kind with explosions and cartel money and oil rigs, but the kind where the truth cuts deeper than anything else could. That is exactly what makes this episode feel different already. It's not just another confrontation, it's a reckoning. But while Tommy is standing there trying to breathe through that grief, Moral is moving silently in the background like a man who already knows he's winning. The trailer shows him watching Tommy from afar again, the same way he did at the Cattleman's Club, like he's studying a chess piece he's already planning to sacrifice. The unsettling part, he's calm, way too calm. And if there's one thing I've learned from shows like this, it's that quiet villains are the most dangerous ones. Moral doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't throw threats around, he just watches, calculates, and waits because he knows he doesn't need to come at Tommy head on. He just needs the right leverage. And episode 4 is making it painfully clear who he's going to get it from. Cammy. The trailer shows her trying to find her footing. After everything she's learned about Monty, his lies, his debts, the money that never existed, the empire that was basically a house of cards waiting to collapse. And it hurts to watch her walk through the remains of her life trying to hold it together, only for Moral to slip into the empty spaces Monty left behind. You can see it in the way he talks to her. He's choosing his words carefully, like someone setting a trap made entirely out of sympathy. He presents himself as a guide, a lifeline, a man willing to help someone drowning in mess she didn't create. But underneath all that charm, there's something cold in his eyes, something that tells you he's not here to help her rebuild. He's here to use her as the bridge into everything that belongs to Tommy. And it works. At least partially. The trailer gives us that moment everyone has been waiting for since last episode's teaser. Moral and Cammy sitting across from each other at lunch. And the tension in that scene, honestly, I felt it through the screen. Moral leans in, talking in that low, careful tone he always uses when he's hiding something massive. And then he starts twisting the conversation. He tries to slide in a warning about snakes, and Cammy immediately picks up on the game he's playing. She fires back, asking the question we all knew was coming. Did you just call Tommy a snake? And the way Moral answers, calm, almost amused, saying he is a hawk, and hawks eat snakes, too. I swear, that line is going to echo through the rest of the season. It's the kind of line that changes everything. It tells you Moral doesn't just want to win. He wants to dismantle Tommy piece by piece. Meanwhile, the trailer also hints at Angela spiraling even deeper into whatever fantasy world she's living in. Her obsession with big houses, big moves, big decisions, everything she pushes onto Tommy without even bothering to ask him what he wants feels 10 times more chaotic in episode 4. And the trailer shows this disconnect between them widening like a crack in a windshield. Tommy is grieving, fighting, running from danger he doesn't even fully understand yet. And Angela is talking about college campuses and property tours, like she's living in a completely different show. And trust me, the writers are doing this on purpose. They're showing us exactly why Moral's plan is working. He sees the fractures in Tommy's life and he's slipping right through them. But what makes the trailer truly brilliant is how it ties every storyline back to one truth: Tommy is being cornered emotionally and physically. And he doesn't even know how many players are actually on the board. His father returning to his home, the funeral, the pressure from Cammy's company falling apart, Angela's non-stop pushing, and Moral slowly tightening a noose around his neck. It's all happening at the same time. And episode 4 is shaping up to be the point where Tommy finally realizes he's standing in the center of something far bigger than grief. Something far darker. If section 1 felt like the storm gathering, Then this next part of the trailer is where the clouds finally start to rumble, and trust me, the tension only gets thicker from here. Episode 4 is clearly building itself around a single idea: nobody is who Tommy thinks they are anymore. And the trailer keeps reinforcing this, scene after scene, with small, sharp moments that hit like a warning. It's almost like the writers want us to sit there realizing that every person around Tommy, every friend, every ally, every familiar face is being pulled in a different direction, either by grief, fear, pressure, or by moral. One of the biggest clues comes when the trailer briefly cuts to Cammy again, this time back at her office, staring at a pile of documents that feel heavier than the air around her. You can tell she's piecing together the last fragments of Monty's hidden life, and the frustration leaking from her body language is enough to break your heart. Because she's not angry at Tommy, she's not angry at the company. She's angry at the realization that the man she trusted most built his entire empire on lies he never intended her to understand. And that's the exact weakness Moral is smelling out like a predator. He knows Cammy is vulnerable, he knows she's questioning everything. And the trailer shows him stepping into that vulnerability with the same precision he used to corner Tommy. He doesn't push too hard, he doesn't overreach, he just places himself in her orbit, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And meanwhile, Tommy is oblivious to how bad things are getting around him. He's too busy trying to breathe through the emotional chokehold the funeral puts him in. The trailer shows a moment where Tommy's father pulls him aside, and the two of them exchange the kind of look you only see between men who have decades of unresolved history sitting between them. Tommy looks like he's breaking, his father looks like he's finally ready to tell the truth. You can feel the tension between them. And it's the kind that doesn't come from anger, it comes from pain. So old it doesn't even have a name anymore. And when Tommy's father says something about their mother that shatters the idealized memories Tommy has been clinging to his whole life, that's when the entire trailer takes a darker turn. Because if Tommy can't trust the memories he's been living with, what exactly can he trust? This emotional unraveling is what makes everything else in the trailer feel so dangerous. Moral isn't just coming after Tommy financially, he's coming after him psychologically. And it shows when Moral drops another cryptic line later in the trailer. Something cold and calculated that makes it painfully clear he's been watching Tommy far longer than anyone realized. He says something along the lines of, "A man who doesn't face his past has no idea what he's capable of," and hearing that over footage of Tommy standing alone at his mother's gravesite is one of the most bone-chilling moments of the entire teaser. Because it's not just a threat, it's a prediction. Moral is already counting on Tommy cracking under pressure. And he's positioning himself to control whatever version of Tommy rises from all this grief. Then, just when you think the emotional weight is heavy enough, the trailer shifts again and shows Angela spiraling into her usual pattern of big, impulsive choices. She's practically glowing with excitement as she drags Tommy from one idea to another: a new house, a new lifestyle, new decisions she made without him even in the room. And the way the trailer cuts between her excitement and Tommy's exhausted expression feels intentional. It's showing us that she and Tommy are standing into different worlds. And Angela has no idea how much she's hurting him right now, or maybe she does, and just doesn't care. That's what makes her character so frustrating this season. While everyone else is getting crushed under real pressure, real danger, real grief, she's out here chasing the next shiny thing like it's the only thing that matters. And that disconnect is going to explode sooner or later. You can feel it building under every word she says. But the most chilling shot in this portion of the trailer, at least for me, is the one where Moral's wife, Bella, is watching Angela from across a room. It's a blink and you miss it shot, but the look on Bella's face says everything. She's analyzing Angela, studying her, almost like she's trying to figure out how far Angela can be pushed or manipulated. And if Bella is anything like Moral, that means she's not just a bystander. She's part of the plan. And Angela, with her craving for attention, luxury, and validation, is exactly the kind of person who can be nudged in the wrong direction without even realizing it. This could be the angle Moral uses to tighten his grip even further through Tommy's personal life. Where the cracks are already spreading, the trailer then circles back to Cammy again. And the exhaustion in her eyes is unmistakable. She's at war with herself, and you can tell she's barely holding it together. The trailer shows her sitting alone in her car, staring straight ahead like she's stuck between choosing loyalty or survival. And that moment matters, because it tells us her conversation with Moral isn't just a one-off scene. It's the beginning of a pressure cooker that's about to boil over. Moral knows she's desperate to save MTEX, he knows she's scared, and he knows she needs answers. So when he makes his offer in the next part of the trailer, an offer that likely comes with strings long enough to choke someone, you can already see how torn she's going to B. If the first two sections of the trailer built the tension, then this part is where the danger finally stops lurking in the shadows and starts showing its teeth. Episode 4 isn't just setting up conflict, it's sharpening it. And the trailer makes it painfully obvious that everyone around Tommy is being pulled into Moral's web whether they realize it or not. The frightening part? Moral never rushes. He never forces anything. He just waits, watches, and speaks with a confidence that tells you he already knows exactly how the board will look when all the pieces fall into place. One of the most haunting moments in the trailer happens when it cuts to Cammy again. This time inside a quiet diner, sitting across from Moral. This is clearly a continuation of the lunch scene we saw teased earlier, but here, the atmosphere feels different. He isn't just being polite now, he's being strategic. He leans forward with that unnerving calmness he always carries, and he says something that instantly freezes Cammy in place. You don't hear the full sentence, but you hear enough to know it isn't just business anymore. It's personal. And what's terrifying is how gently he delivers his words. No threats, no raised voice, no intimidation. Just quiet, careful influence. It's the kind of conversation that feels harmless until you replay it in your head and realize he was pushing her the entire time. And the trailer does this brilliant thing where it cuts directly from that conversation to Tommy standing alone outside the funeral service. His face is a mix of heartbreak, exhaustion, and something else, maybe anger, maybe confusion, maybe both. But what stands out most is the way he looks lost. Like the ground under him is shifting and he can't figure out where to step next. And that is the exact moment Moral is counting on. Tommy is vulnerable. Cammy is vulnerable. Angela is distracted. His father is stirring up unresolved trauma. The whole world around Tommy is unsteady. And Moral is the only person walking with absolute clarity. Then the trailer shifts into a montage of clipped scenes, each one connected by a single thread, pressure. We see Tommy snapping at someone, maybe a coworker, maybe Angela, maybe even Cammy. His voice cracks in a way we haven't heard since the season started. He's losing his grip, not because he's weak, but because he's carrying too much. And the people who should be helping him are either lost in their own chaos, or being quietly manipulated by someone who understands exactly how to weaponize grief. From there, we get a chilling line from Moral, spoken over a shot of him pouring a drink in his office. People who think they're cornered do things they never thought possible. And the second he says it, the trailer shows a glimpse of a heated confrontation, Tommy and his father standing inches apart, both of them looking like they're about to say something they can never take back. It's messy, painful, and real. And that's when it hits you. This episode isn't just about external threats. It's about internal fractures, generational trauma, and the wounds that never quite healed. What I love most about this segment is how carefully the trailer weaves Angela into the narrative, not as a villain, but as another catalyst for Tommy's collapse. We see her in the bathroom, staring at her reflection with this odd mix of frustration and confusion. Like she can't understand why Tommy isn't reacting the way she wants him to. She wants stability, success, comfort. But she has no idea how to handle pain. And that's the saddest part. She's not malicious. She's just blind to the weight Tommy is carrying. And that blindness is only making everything worse. Then comes the scene, blink and you miss it. But incredibly important, where we see Moral's wife again, Bella, stepping into Cammy's office with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She offers a compliment, something simple, maybe something about Cammy's strength or resilience. But the tone is off. It feels rehearsed. And Cammy senses it too. You can see the confusion in her eyes, like she's starting to realize that Moral's influence is spreading around her faster than she expected. But again, she's stuck in that impossible position: save the company Monty built or protect the people Monty loved. And the tragedy here is that she might not be able to do both. The trailer then gives us a moment that made my stomach drop: Tommy walking into MTEX late at night. The lights dim, the office empty. He looks around like he's searching for answers, maybe even searching for Cammy. And that's when you understand why Moral is focusing on her so intensely. Tommy trusts her, maybe more than he trusts anyone else right now. If Moral can twist that trust, even just a little, then he wins. Because Tommy doesn't have many allies left. And losing Cammy even emotionally would hit him harder than any financial attack ever could. If Section 3 was the moment Cammy's hand hovered over that folder, then Section 4 is where the trailer shows us exactly what happens when decisions made under pressure start unraveling everything around them. And trust me, this is the part where the tension finally grows sharp enough to cut. Because the trailer wastes absolutely no time showing us that whatever Moral gave Cammy, whatever offer, contract, or lifeline he slid across that table, isn't something she can simply walk away from. Not now, not after everything she's lost. And the most heartbreaking part is that you can feel she knows it. The trailer opens this segment with a gut punch of a scene. Cammy standing alone in the MTEX boardroom. The same room where Monty used to make all his big decisions. The same room where she once felt like she knew the man she married. And now, she's surrounded by documents she doesn't recognize. Signatures she never saw Monty make, numbers that don't make any sense. And debts that look like they're growing faster than she can even begin to sort them. The trailer lets the silence sit there, heavy and suffocating. Before we hear Cammy whisper something, just one line, but powerful enough to break anyone watching. "What did you get us into, Monty?" And honestly, I felt that. Every ounce of confusion and grief and betrayal in her voice tells you she's running out of time. And options. Then the trailer jumps to Tommy and suddenly the entire energy shifts. We see him walking down a long corridor wearing the same suit from the funeral. But his expression is different now. He looks angrier. Not wild or out of control but focused, simmering. Like someone who's finally reached his breaking point. And the tension in his body tells you he's about one conversation away from tearing down whatever wall stands in his way. The voiceover playing during this moment comes from his father, saying something like, "You can't fix a past you don't understand, son," and that line hits harder than almost anything else in the trailer, because it feels like the first honest piece of advice his father has given him in years. The problem is Tommy doesn't know who to trust with that pain. Right after that, the trailer cuts to a meeting between Cammy and the MTEX board. And let me tell you, this scene is tense in a completely different way. Cammy looks exhausted, like she's been awake for days. And the board members around her are whispering, pointing at spreadsheets, asking questions she clearly doesn't have answers to. One of them even leans forward and says something like, "This company doesn't survive another quarter unless you bring in outside help." And the second he says outside help, the trailer cuts to Morrill, standing at a window overlooking the city, smiling like he already heard the conversation through the walls. That one single edit tells you everything you need to know. Morrill isn't coming in as a hostile force. He's coming in as a savior. And that is exactly what makes him so dangerous.